Hey everyone, today we are working on our Keihin flat slide carburetor, and we're doing a bit mid-body gasket kit as well as just cleaning the whole thing. And normally I don't remove my throttle cam or the throttle position sensor, but on this bike, somehow a bunch of dirt got in here and we want to clean all of this stuff up. So we're going to be showing you how to do that today. If you want to see how to do the other things, we've got the separate videos for that. But again, this is just on how to remove and reinstall the throttle position sensor and that throttle cam. So with that being said, I'm going to remove the throttle cam first. We're going to have to rotate this backwards. I already have the screw removed from this arm that moves that slide up and down. So with that being said, I'll pull it out. That's going to let that spring release. We can remove that arm, and there's 2 washers in there to watch for. And that grease inside there, that's pretty old and felt kind of gummy coming out. So it's good that we're gonna re-grease these little bearings inside of here. And then on the throttle position sensor, you do need to reset, or you need to pay attention to where it's at now. And we're gonna use a multimeter to get it set up correctly later on. But what I'm gonna do with that is take my paint pen. I'm going to make a mark right here. And in theory, that should be the right spot when we go back together. So on this particular model, I've got a T25 Torx wrench. I'm just going to remove that screw and our throttle position sensor. Now, as you're cleaning this up, I do want to point out that there's a seal on this side, and we do not have a replacement seal for that. That being said, I'm going to avoid spraying any carburetor cleaner right there. I am going to use an ultrasonic cleaner to clean this up, but if you are using carburetor cleaner, wouldn't be a bad idea to get a little paper towel, stuff it inside of there while you spray everything else out. And then the bearings themselves, we're just going to take a rag and get some of that old grease out. Now I can spray all the dirt and grime out of the carb body and spray off that bearing as well. Then I'll wipe up the throttle cam shaft and the linkage arm. For anyone using an ultrasonic, you can skip the spray and go straight to getting it dunked. Just rinse it off with clean water and dry it off when you're done. All right, so we have everything cleaned up. We're going to start out by greasing our bearings. So any grease is better than no grease. We actually have some Suzuki silicone grease. If you have a Suzuki, this is the part number that they recommend putting on those bearings. But again, all these carburetors are, for the most part, the same. So no matter what brand you're working on, it's gonna work great. But if all you have is white grease or wheel bearing grease or whatever, just make sure you have grease on there. Now, with that being said, kind of hard to reach in there. So if you had a Q-tip or a screwdriver or whatever, just try to pack some of that grease down in there. And just be careful around that seal, you don't want to cut it. And if you smeared any extra on the sides, you can wipe that out. Then I'm going to apply some of this to the throttle shaft. Just avoid the threads near the middle, since we will be using some Loctite on that screw. Now, to get everything assembled, we're going to start by setting the spring into place. I'm pushing down on the accelerator pump on that arm. There's 2 tabs on the spring. There's a short one and big one. The short one is going in the groove on that carburetor body, just like this. Then we've got the throttle cam. I'm going to start putting this into place. And with this started, just pay attention. There's a throttle stop. That's this little tab on the cam. There's a tab a little further back that the spring hooks into, but the one that is more forward, that's the throttle stop. So we roughly know how this cam goes into place. So with that pretty close, I'm going to take, first we have the steel washer that goes on here. Then we have the nylon washer. Then we have the arm for our slide. Set that into place. Push that throttle shaft through. And then before you go too far with any of this, I've got the accelerator pump pushed down. I'm going to rotate the throttle cam all the way back, and little tab coming off the back is going to hook onto the spring right there. We're going to rotate this all the way back until the tab for the throttle stop or the adjustment screw, until we've cleared that right there. So just like that, and then you can push it all the way in and release that accelerator pump. Next we have our throttle position sensor. We've got that O-ring on there. I'm going to apply just a little bit of grease to it. So you can see the groove right here. We need to line that up with the tab on the throttle shaft. And this thing is spring loaded. So again, we already made our mark for alignment. So what we're going to have to do, we'll start by lining this up, the groove with the tab, just like that. And then again, with it being spring loaded, then I'm just going to wind this down, press this on all the way. We'll make sure the marks are lined up. Now I've got the screw. As soon as I have it where I want, I can go ahead and tighten down the screw with my T25. So that's it for replacing the throttle position sensor and re-greasing those bearings on your Keihin FCR carburetor. If you have any questions, leave those down in the comments. And if you need any parts for your bike, you can find that stuff on our website. Just click the link in the description below. Now we do have other videos on this style of carburetor, whether it's just cleaning, you want to go through the whole carburetor, you want to do the mid body, or if you have questions about the accelerator pump, we have separate videos for those. So check them out and subscribe to our channel. I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Thanks for watching.